In the theater, we start out with a script. And Becky's New Car is the play that I did with Jeff, Mr. Chair Fall Downer. And so on one side of the ledger, we might have Becky's New Car. I'll just use that as my synonym for theater work. On the other side of the ledger, we might have Widgets, LLC, your business, your company. In the Becky's New Car, in the theater, we have characters. I mean, I portrayed a character. I was Walter Flood in that particular play. And so I had to be that character. I had to identify with that character. I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a minute because you do the same things every day in what you do. In yours, Widgets, in your play, in your theater production every day, you have you, your character. You have your staff of employees that you work with, or coworkers, subordinates, or superiors. You have your clients, you have your prospects, you have your family and your friends, and you have your suppliers, and you have society at large. Much like my opportunity to network with many of you today, that's society at large, so to speak. In the theater, we take these characters and we apply them to a plot or a storyline. I have to understand what the story of Becky's New Car was about. I have to understand what role I play in that story. I have to understand what role and what characteristics and what traits I play as that character do I bring to this plot, to this storyline. How do I move this character through this story? You do the same thing every day in your play. I have a plot and a storyline. You have sales, you have forecasts, you have marketing plans, merchandising, branding to do. You have competition to deal with, interact with, understand, and know about. That's your storyline. That's the plot of what you're doing in your act, in your play. In every good play, there's a conflict. Boy sees girl, boy wants to meet girl, girl doesn't want to meet boy, we have a conflict. In Becky's New Car, I saw Becky, I wanted to date Becky. Becky was married. Well, we have a conflict. Well, I didn't, but Becky's husband did. So you have a conflict in your business, and you need to understand that. You have rejection. That's a conflict, is it not? You have competition. You have skills that are underdeveloped or non-existent in some areas of your business or your enterprise or your career path. You have procedures that need to be updated, that haven't kept up with the innovation in the marketplaces and the business community. You have staffing conflicts. I didn't go to work today. She just didn't show up. I don't know where he's at, right? You have time problems, do you not? I'd love to meet. I just don't have the time today. I just don't have the time. Well, you do, and we can talk about that. Training that you may need and haven't gotten for yourself yet, your own personal development that should be an ongoing thing in your life. You have an obligation for that. Training for the employees that you work with, for your staff, your subordinates. If you're in a management or leadership role, are you providing training for them, or are you saying, well, the company doesn't provide that? Well, in relationship to that staff that you manage, you are the company. And what have you done in that role? And what can you do? Have you thought about it? And you have customer objections or client objections. When I say customers, let's understand, let's just get some definitions on the table. When I say customer, that could be a client. You could be an attorney, and so that client is your customer, is it not? I'm a customer of my doctor. He calls me a patient, but I call a customer when I see the bill. So we understand that. Okay. Out of conflict, we have crisis. Every good story, every great movie, every great TV show, every great piece of dramatic theater, there is a crisis that takes place. And in your production, in your theater, in the play of your life every day, you have crisis. You have no sales. You have no profit. Nobody answered the phone. Nobody knocked on the door. Nobody walked in and said, I need to buy one of those widgets. How many do you have available? It just didn't happen today. And that can be for you a crisis, can it not? A loss of market share could be a crisis for you. No innovation, and in business today, no innovation is the death. It is the death of you. Peter Drucker said it years ago, and he was right then, and he's more right now, that the success of a business depends on innovation and marketing. It is the two keys. I'll talk about a magic thing in addition to that in just a few minutes. And out of that crisis, in every great play, we have resolution. The resolution in Becky's New Car is I did get to date Becky. Her husband did find out, and he forgave her, and there was resolution. Not for me. I was a little bit sad about it, but that's a different play, and I'm rewriting that script. You have in business, in your play every day, you have resolution. You have resolution that comes through business plans. A good business plan will help you find resolution. A set of goals, solid goals, in writing, written down, that you and your family and your subordinates and your coworkers or your employees know about? Do you have them? I'm going to ask you that question again in a minute. But that is part of your resolution, getting trained, training yourself, training your staff. Personal development on an ongoing basis is one of the pathways to resolving some of the crises and conflicts that you have every day in business. Hiring the right personnel and firing the wrong personnel. Well, he's been here forever. Everybody likes Joe. What does Joe do? Well, we don't know, but he's been here forever. And we really like him, and Sue's really fond of him, the business manager. So Joe needs to go, and we're all going to miss him. You need to fire some of your customers, too. Right? Do we all have some of those? Some customers that we just said, wow, I don't think I want to do business with you anymore. Yeah, we all have those. And sometimes we know about it beforehand, don't we? Yeah, oh, yeah, huh? Well, yeah. Reliving the nightmare, are we? Okay, well. Yeah, sometimes we know about it at the time where they are making a presentation, right? We knocked on the door, they answered the phone. Oh, I'm so sorry I dialed your number. And who did you say sent you to see me? I just want to know who not to talk to again. The problem is, you know that you should fire you're now in a position to have to fire that customer, which is hard to do, if not impossible. It's usually impossible. Now, it's not impossible for somebody like me because I just don't know any better. I just come say, you're fired. I don't do it quite that way, but I said, our business relationship isn't mutually beneficial any longer. And I think that you need to find somebody that could better serve your needs. And I've had to do that on a few occasions. But I'm a little bit better at it now, and I would recommend that you take a different approach, because for some of you, that might be a hard conversation to make, wouldn't it not? Yeah, it's like you going on that date and she says, I'd like to see you again. You say, oh, no. I was hoping she wouldn't say that. So, you know sometimes at the moment you meet them, at the moment you call on them, that this is a relationship doomed for disaster. And since we've been using that wonderful term relationship selling, relationship business groups, keep that in mind. When your gut's telling you that this is a client, a prospect, or a company that you shouldn't do business with. I turn down companies all the time. It's not about the money. It's about, can I deliver what they need, and can they be happy with what I deliver? And sometimes that's not going to happen. If I deliver at my best, which is always my goal, right? If I achieve it or not, it's always my goal. If I deliver at my best, I will not satisfy that company. And if I know that going in, why would I go in? Why would I subject myself to that pain and agony? And why would I put them in a position to be dissatisfied and disserved? We're going to end up not liking each other. That's a tough divorce to get into, is it not? In addition to all this, we have costumes that I haven't put up here, props. I mean, this is my costume today, right? I'm going to function like this, so this is my costume. Now, sometimes my costume is a three-piece suit. Sometimes so is yours. Sometimes it's a turtleneck and a blazer and slacks, and I would suspect at times that's yours. And sometimes it's a pair of Levi's and a T-shirt. Not as often for me, but when I do some of the executive coaching groups that I do in California, we'll have a weekend getaway where we're just going to brainstorm and work on some long-term programs, and we're going to be in sneakers and Levi's and T-shirts, and we're going to spend 2 18-hour days together, and we're going to get a lot done. And it's nice because all of this goes away and more of us shows up, right? Okay. You have props. You have props like brochures, business cards, videos, right? All of those things. Those are all the props that you use. So keep that in mind. Review them. Take a look at them.